and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that takes great satisfaction in the fact that you will never know whether or not I'm wearing pants right now. I am. Anyway, today I'm going to take a look at a board game that is all about an alien menace threatening the Earth, and the governments of the world banding together to fight that alien menace. I am speaking of Level 7 Invasion from Privateer Press. In Level 7 Invasion from Privateer Press, 3 to 5 players take on the role of kind of world leaders, the leaders of coalitions, North America, South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, and how they must work together in order to defeat a alien invasion. Now, the aliens are called the Hydra. This game carries on the tradition of the previous titles in the series, Level 7 Escape and Level 7 Omega Protocol. This time, the evil scientist Dr. Kronos is actually an ally of humans, as the various governments around the Earth must work with him to develop a super weapon capable of destroying the aliens. Now, every player is going to get their own player board, which has various dials representing their military-industrial complex, their food, fuel, minerals. It's also going to be able to track individual territories, as well as a threat level and how well people are responding to what's going on. Each turn, there are going to be 3 phases, and each of these phases will have 5 steps to them. So you've got 3 phases and 5 steps. There's a lot going on here in Level 7 Invasion. In Phase 1, you can do a lot of different things. For instance, you can hire Gin mercenaries. These are less hostile aliens who, in fact, are willing to help you against the Hydra, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You can also do research, where you're working on different techs, which are going to become very important as the game progresses in order to help you defend yourself against the Hydra. You can deploy units onto the board. And critically, you can work on that super weapon that you need to in order to defeat the evil Hydra. During the second phase, you're going to do things like move your units around, and the biggest thing you got to do during that second phase is what is known as the event phase. Now, what's going to happen during the event phase is that each player is going to pick a card. They're going to choose there's 2 options on these cards, 2 bad things that could happen, and they're going to choose which of the bad things happens, and then you slide it under a spot on the board depending on which action you want to happen. And then you go through and you read those. So there's an opportunity to kind of screw over the other players. This is, after all, supposedly a semi-cooperative game. In fact, there's player elimination, and you can screw over other players. When you get to the third phase, there's some housekeeping. There's also drop ships that move around the board that drop off more Hydra soldiers to fight your own guys. There's a whole lot more than that. That's just kind of the overview of the phases. Then, of course, you repeat. The game progresses until the super weapon is built. And that last phase when the super weapon is built, the Hydra actually have kind of a devastation phase. They get more powerful. This game actually is somewhat balanced, too, in that even as you are developing tech and you are getting stronger, each time you kill a Hydra soldier, the Hydra gets stronger. They adapt. Now, sometimes these adaptations are simple kind of one-time, bad events that happen for the humans. Other times, they are persistent bonuses that they get. Combat in this game, when it happens during the second phase, is pretty straightforward. Essentially, you total up your power based on the number of troops you have and any modifiers such as tech that might accrue to that. You look at the Hydra, how many guys they've got, and how much tech how much power they've got in addition to that. And then whoever has the most is the attacker, whoever has the least is the defender. You roll a die. The die has 3 sides with pluses on it, 2 with equal signs, and 1 with a minus side. If you roll a plus, the defender dies. You roll an equal, you both die. You roll a minus, the attacker dies. So it's very weighted toward attack. It kind of rewards combat, and it kind of has to in order to keep the Hydra in the game and competitive. But those Hydra too, they'll spawn weird when those dropships come down. There are defense numbers around the board. They can't exceed the defense number or they'll start moving. So these Hydra just pile up. One minute you're sitting pretty, not a Hydra on your continent. The next minute they're all over the place. And that's scary. That's intense. That builds a lot of intensity there. As I say, the game ends once everybody has completed their part of the super weapon, and then you go into that devastation phase. If you can survive that, you win the game. Now, not every player may survive. Some of the players may be eliminated. In fact, you're going to be willing to help those other players as they develop their super weapon, and once they develop their part of the super weapon, well, who cares? So what do I think of Level 7 Invasion? Well, I gotta tell you, I never played Level 7 Escape. I didn't hear too many good things about Level 7 Escape, so I just avoided it. Then I started hearing all these amazing things about Level 7 Omega Protocol, the second game in the series. So I picked it up. I'm so glad I did. I love Level 7 Omega Protocol. It's a tactical game, very different from this game. It's a tactical game where you're sending Marines into a lab. It's kind of a dungeon crawl. Very fun, very cinematic. It feels like you're watching an Aliens movie or something. Love, love, love Level 7 Omega Protocol. So I was very interested to see how Level 7 Invasion played. It was a different game, and I knew that going into it. But still, it's the same designer, same theme. I was really excited to see where this game took the series. Did it expand on Level 7 Omega Protocol in a good way or not? And I gotta tell you, I'm very pleased to announce it does. I like Level 7 Invasion. I like it a lot. I think it's a very fun game. It's not a perfect game. It's got some flaws to it. It's got some problems. For instance, the military-industrial complex, your main kind of unit of currency, I don't know if currency is the right, but your main kind of dial you got to worry about, that's scary, man. That thing can shoot down, and that gets scary. Your food, too, and the way it works in the military-industrial complex, very well balanced, very good, very tense. The fuel and the minerals, however, if you're not buying tech like that, and you can't always do it because you're limited to how much tech you can do, that's not as much. A lot of the guys we were playing it, had, high dials, right? And I gotta tell you, too, we won our first game against it. Cooperative games should be tough. You should lose cooperatives on the first time you play it. Now, this is a semi-cooperative, and so maybe you're not necessarily going for everybody winning, but honestly, I think you gotta play this game as a co-op. I think you just got to play it with that you're playing a cooperative game and work together as best you can. The individual elimination and stuff, I mean, I can see how that's in there, and that does make it tense. But I don't know that this game succeeds as a semi-co-op, but it definitely, I think, succeeds as a cooperative game. But maybe it's a bit too easy. Maybe, future plays, we'll see. But the games I've played so far, we've won. But I like it. I still like it. It's still tense. It still keeps people on the ropes. And when I say we won, I mean no one was eliminated. We all stayed in the game to the end. I mean, we were all hanging on by our fingernails, but we still won. But still, it's just, I love the theme. I think the components in this game are absolutely beautiful. Dr. Kronos is a little standee that you're moving around, and I wish they'd come up with a miniature instead of that. But other than that, I think just the components in this game are fantastic. I was worried, too, that it was going to be too fiddly. It's got those, 3 phases and 5 steps, each 15 steps. I'm thinking, okay, do this, then we do this, do this. And the first time we played, first turn was fiddly. You were going, okay. But once you get into the groove of it, Eclipse, I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it moved great. I thought that event round is fantastic, where you have to choose, you have to make the best of 2 bad choices, and I've said it 100 times on the show. My favorite games are games that that force you to make these decisions that are just, the best of bad decisions. Those are my favorite kinds of games because it's so intense. This game does that beautifully. That is a great round. That is an intense part of the game, the events. So I really, really, really like Level 7 Invasion. I don't know that I like it as much as Omega Protocol, but I like it a lot. I'd go so far as to say I think this may be in my top 10 of 2014. Maybe. I'd have to think about it. It may have broken into the top 5. I got to think about it. But at any rate, I love it. Now, if you like kind of the science fiction theme, if you like the idea of a co-op working together to save the planet, this is something you ought to look into. Now, Fantasy Flight's coming out later this year, I believe, with their XCOM game, and superficially they look a lot alike. I've heard people who said they played both said they play very differently. So I'm thinking they probably will be very different games. But in any event, I really get a kick out of Level 7 Invasion. Not a perfect game, but I think there's enough there that this is a winner. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Level 7 Invasion is buy it! Thank you once again for joining us for The Discriminating Gamer. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for watching the show. I've had so much fun reading all of your comments on YouTube and Board Game Geek and the website, Facebook. Please, please, please keep those coming. Please like us on Facebook. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. We want to bring more and more of this kind of content. I've already begun the process of writing the scripts for Season 2, so I don't know exactly when we're going to get started on production as soon as we can all find some time, but hopefully we'll get those up and some of the regular episodes up and running within a couple of months. So hopefully we'll get that going. But again, thank you as always for watching the show. And this is The Discriminating Gamer, and I'm not wearing pants. I am.